Hey everybody and welcome back. In today's video I'm going to do a high-level overview of Power Pages, which is very similar to Power Apps, and I'll put a link in the description to a playlist where I have more video tutorials on Power Apps, but Power Pages is the website version, for lack of better words. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. When we're at the Power App homepage and we have the option to create a site, you can choose to go and use AI to build it, or we can start with a template. Now, if you look down here, you'll see that we have several different layouts and you have a ton of options. So not only do you have layouts, but you also have options for things like typical business purposes. So application submissions, things that are potentially going to integrate with, for example, Dynamics 365. You have a bunch of options is the main point. So as you're going through, you can see all of these and you can start with a blank one as well. So we will basically use two. So we'll start out with this option here. So we'll start with the blank. So we can choose this template, choose the name, you'll see the site address, and it'll be at .powerappsportals.com. So we can go ahead and get that set up. And basically you just have to wait a couple of minutes or a couple seconds just for it to get everything loaded. And then we'll click done. Now we're going to go ahead and wait for the environment to be set up. And then we can go ahead and just start managing that template. Okay, so everything has been built and we've been dropped into the main page, and you can see that it has a somewhat similar feel to Power Apps Studio. So we're in the Design Studio now, and you'll see that we have our home page here, and then all of our additional options here, such as data, which again, very similar to the actual location for data in Power Apps. Now, you have the ability to view the tables in the site, and then view other tables, and then you have the ability to create a table from external data or within Power Pages itself. So for example, if you wanted to, you could add a new connection, open connections, and add from here. You can check on the advanced options. So you have quite a few different options. Again, very, very similar to how Power Apps functions, but you can also really just build your table here. So we have our rows, columns, refresh, edit properties, so tons of different options. And again, you can just select from external data, or if you want, you can choose new table and just build it here. So that's really the basics for data. We're not going to do too much there. So now we're going to go to the setup tab really quickly. So you'll see that you have quite a few different options if you want to go through optimization. So go live checklist, site performance, etc. Most of this I'm not personally too worried about. The main idea here is that you have your URL, which you can click and open up your Power Apps page if you're signed in and have access. You have the ability to click preview, and you can do a mobile preview, or you can preview at really just like a desktop site. So you would just select this option, or you can do the email me a preview link option as well. It's really whichever works best for you. And then you have the option to sync your site across collaborators. So basically you can click to sync, make sure that everything stays up to date. So once this is synced, what we'll do is we'll go back to our pages and we'll just do a very quick overview now that it's opening up our sample site or page. So you'll see that we have our sample site here, and you'll see the URL up top, and really just no content there. So we can go to our pages here, and here's where we can start to add components. So you have quite a few options. If you want, you can start with just text, and you could, in this text box, type whatever you want to. So we could just put hey. And then you can click sync, and it can take a second or two to actually update to whatever other site you're at. But general idea is this would be where everything would be synced to. It just takes a moment or two. So we have this set up and saved. Now we're going to wait, and once it's done syncing, we can start adding in some additional content. Now, one of the cool things for Power Pages is we have this edit code option to edit in Visual Studio Code if you feel compelled to do so. Now, within the Power Pages platform, you can see that we can add a section. You can choose from these various options here. And then from here, you have quite a few different options. For example, you could add in a form and you can choose from a pre-built form. And you'll see that we have a user registration form here, and we'll just click OK. And then it will insert that form, and you can just build out whatever the logic needs to be. I personally like to use a lot of these forms and templates when I can, because it saves a lot of time and it's a lot easier to edit them and to add or remove a few fields than it is to actually have to build everything from scratch. So you'll see that it'll take a moment or two to add the form to the page with the pre-selected fields, and then you'll have the ability to kind of build in any of that background functionality, such as maybe you want to have the form submit to SharePoint or to some kind of an online resource, whatever the case may be. So you'll see in the form here, we now have all of these fields, and then you can select the field or the actual form itself, and you can go up here and you can leave comments. If you want to have more of a collaborative option, you can click Learn to get through some of the intros and learn more about certain functionality. And then you have Copilot, which can help you kind of walk through various things that you may be interested in. Now, from within the form, once you've selected it, you can click Edit, Edit Fields, Permissions, and then you have the ability to move or adjust once you have additional content. So if we chose to edit the form, you'll see that we have the table and the form. You can choose essentially data from this form, what happens to it, what happens on submit, if there's a CAPTCHA, attachments, and the AI portion. So we can click OK, and then you'll see the CAPTCHA down here has now been added. So that essentially has been updated, and then you can update the permissions as well. Now, it's a very similar process for really any other items that you choose to add into your various pages. So I don't think that the layout is as intuitive as Power Apps in that you can't just click over here and easily add items, but it is still a very useful tool. Now, when you're in this section itself, again, you can click around and choose to update your layouts, your design, and background, additional settings. So you have quite a few options here. So if we go back to section 1, again, you have the ability to adjust and update or align however you see fit, and then you can continue to kind of manage things from there. So we can go to our setup if we want to check on any of these various elements, such as site performance, and you can see if you can get any kind of usable feedback for how to make everything that you have more user-friendly. Now, we have the majority of styling already taken care of, but as you can see, it's not the most attractive, so maybe we want to change it up and choose something like purple. So we can set that, and we'll save the changes, and then we'll go back to our home page, and it can take a moment to save sometimes, and we can see what's synced while it's doing that. And you have the ability within Power Apps to adjust a lot of this as far as URLs and other things as well. So you can do a basic URL redirect, or you can set up custom URLs if you need to. But as you can see, we have all of our content in this new page. So everything's working as expected so far. Now, if we go back to pages, which is kind of like your main tree, you can add subpages, comments, you can check your page settings, and duplicates. So basically, if you want to edit different things, you can actually select the various fields. You can choose individual fields to edit them and manage things through this. You can also edit site visibility here. You can add additional pages, choose from different layouts, whether it's added to navigation by default. And then again, you can manage other things like comments, subpages. You can duplicate if needed. So that's the general high-level overview. The main benefit to Power Pages is instead of building an actual application, you're building a website, which, to be honest, to me feels more like a web app. But basically what you're doing is you're creating business websites that will connect with various Microsoft or just internal applications. You do need to manage your own internal resources to make sure that you have access, but you can build these and launch these in minutes, as you can see here. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.